Hello and welcome to Silverstone after what was a fascinating qualifying session where this man has done it again. Can you believe it? 3 straight pole positions, 3 straight lap records for Fabio Quartararo. We said it throughout pre-season testing. We said it at the start of the season when they had their ups and their downs, but we can officially say that Yamaha are back in the fight in MotoGP. We were saying all year long that the effort that they put in, the ability that they've had to be able to turn things around, new engine, new chassis, new swing arm, new aerodynamics. Amazing to see that Fabio Quartararo has been able to do the job that he has, and he's not the only one as well. Jack Miller, what a qualifying from him onto the second row of the grid. Alex Rins through there competing in Q2 as well. Top job by Yamaha to be able to put themselves in the fight for sprint tomorrow. However, the big favourite will be Alex Marquez on the Gresini Ducati, pinpointed by Pecco Bagnaia in Parc Ferme and by brother Mark yesterday, who, by the way, is off of the front row of the grid for the first time this year. What can he do from there? We'll have to wait and see. But Alex certainly looks like the man, but potentially on Sunday, because again in Parc Ferme, he sort of cast some doubt over his performance in the sprint, saying that he did his work on the medium rear tyre yesterday. Dennis, how are you?
Good, you? All fine?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you. I'm just explaining what happened in MotoGP qualifying.
Fabio was just insane and take the third point in a row, yeah?
I know, but can he win the sprint though?
It's Fabio, he can do it.
Okay, is he your pick?
The Ducatis are fast, so I don't know.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, Dennis. There we go. Co-host for 30 seconds, Denis Onchu, always a great character. As we're saying, yes, Alex Marquez did his work yesterday on the medium rear tyre rather than the soft, which is going to be the pick of the rear tyre coming in the sprint later on, and maybe felt that he was better prepared for tomorrow's longer duration rather than what we're going to see coming up in the sprint. So does that mean there's an opportunity for Pecco Bagnaia? Potentially, but we know that Bagnaia isn't normally at his very best in the sprint format. Marc Marquez has to come through from row 2 of the grid. The good news is, I don't think anybody knows who's going to win the sprint later on today, which we like. We like it to be nice and unpredictable. Right, let's get in amongst it then, and let's see if we can find potentially a certain Frenchman, El Diablo, to be able to get his thoughts after qualifying. Hello, chaps, how are you? All good? I'm going to squeeze through. Big Fabio Quartararo fans, guys?
Yeah.
You are?
Really big.
What's your name? I'm Jack. Nice to meet you.
I'm Albie.
Nice to meet you, Albert.
I'm Remy.
Nice to meet you, Remy. Oh, I see. Is that cap yours or is it Remy Gardner's?
It's Remy Gardner's, but
Okay.
I bought it today and.
Oh, really? It's a nice cap. I like it. What happened here? Have you had a crash?
No, I was playing football and then I broke my foot.
Okay, you need to be careful with that. So, I was just saying, we don't know who's going to win the sprint later. Who do you think's going to do it?
Well, for me, my dad used to work for KTM, so I've got to say Pedro Acosta.
Oh, really? From all the way through, what is he, row 5 of the grid? It'll be impressive if he does. What do you think, Remy?
Either Quartararo or Marquez, probably.
Which Marquez?
Not Alex, Mark.
Mark, okay. Mark, Fabio and Pedro Acosta. Your dad used to work for KTM. Yeah. Who's your dad?
He's called John.
Oh, is it John? And what's his last name? Johnny
Yeah.
Eyre. I do know Johnny Eyre. Where is he? There he is, over there. How are you, mate? Good to see you again, back in the paddock again. He's a good lad. I like your dad. There we go. Of course, was working in the paddock for a very long time, was his dad. Actually helped Nicky Hayden to the 2006 World Championship, would you believe? So his dad's a bit of a famous face in these parts. Now works for the Honda World Superbike team. So good to see some familiar faces coming back. I'll catch up with Johnny after this as we come down to sample some of the atmosphere outside the back of the Yamaha box. But unfortunately, there's no one here at the moment. As we're saying, very, very positive day for Yamaha overall. Jack Miller, impressive. 6, has been loving his time this weekend on the Yamaha, has gelled with it brilliantly so far, and in particular these fast and flowing parts of this super technical Silverstone circuit, he's having so much fun because the bike is doing exactly what he wants it to do. When he wants it to go right, it goes right. When he wants to pick it up and flick it left, it does it with absolute ease, and that is a rider's dream, which is why Jack is riding with a big smile under his helmet at the moment. In terms of what we saw further down, good performance by Fermin Aldeguer, second row of the grid for him again. He's potentially a contender as well, especially after what we saw last time out in Le Mans. Third in the sprint, in the dry, third in the race. in the wet, so we can't rule him out as potentially one of the contenders as well. Back onto row 3 of the grid, where we saw a top performance. I have to say, got to give credit to Luca Marini, under quite a bit of pressure at the moment. There's so much talk with regards to Jorge Martin and a potential move to Honda next year. Everyone is almost just expecting that Luca Marini is going to step out of the factory Honda concern next season, but he's doing his level best to try hold on to that seat or hold on to a spot within the Honda ranks next year. Fastest in Q1, put it onto the 3rd row of the grid. Brilliant job by the Italian. You've got to give him credit for what he's done there, and we can update you on what we saw down at Trackhouse Racing as well. That is Davide Brivio and Giovanni Motorola, the crew chief too. Agura, unfortunately, suffering a crash yesterday morning. There's a belief that he may well have done some ligament damage, potentially at the top of his tibia. They're not sure just yet. He's going to fly back to Barcelona on Monday he's en route back to Barcelona now, for an MRI scan on Monday for them to try and get further clarity on the injury that Agura has. But I was speaking to Davide Brivio in the session that just passed there, and the big concern for Aprilia and for Trackhouse is they haven't got a standing rider. Lorenzo Savadori, of course, is stepping in for Jorge Martin at the moment. If the injury is as serious as what it sounds, and we know how complicated knee injuries can be, that certainly isn't good news for Aprilia. You have to question who they turn to be able to get 4 bikes out there on the grid if it is going to be a lengthy spell on the sidelines for Agura. Will they have to dip into the World Superbike paddock? I'm completely spitballing off the top of my head here, but I don't really see another avenue for them if Agura unfortunately does have to sit on the sidelines for a while. It's going to be an interesting one anyway, as a man that I definitely want to grab a word with is Thriller Miller, the number 43. We're just saying he's been riding all weekend with a smile under his helmet, the bike doing exactly what he wants it to do, and he's done a magnificent job there. Jack, I was just saying, well, I was speaking really glowingly about you actually, saying, yeah, I know, first time for everything. You've been riding with a smile under your helmet all weekend, the bike doing exactly what you want it to do, and that's a rider's dream.
Yeah, no, I mean, apart from the slight tip-off yesterday afternoon with in the last chicane there, it's been a really good weekend. Bike's working from the get-go really well. The little tip-off yesterday was just a little mistake by myself. We first saw first flying lap. The engine brake was we made some adjustments throughout the lunch break, and the engine brake was kind of helping me too much, and I was like, brake sort of where I felt comfortable, and nicked that white line on the inside, and they're pretty slippy around here, so I learned that one for later on this afternoon, obviously tomorrow. But no, it's been a solid weekend so far. Pace has been really good all by ourselves, and happy with the way the bike's performing, especially it's pretty tricky conditions with the wind and especially the gust down the back straight. You kind of pop in and out of, let's say, hills and grandstands and whatnot, and you sort of don't know where it's coming from, the old invisible force. But
Phillip Island-esque.
It is very much so. So no, we'll see what we can do this afternoon off the 2nd row there. The inside will be nice to hopefully get away with those boys at the front for a little bit and see what we can do.
Tyre life a concern, or should be okay?
Should be all right. Sprint race looks, it's pretty chilly at the minute, so sprint race looks like soft. And we'll wait and see what tomorrow will bring. The soft fronts, I did 23 laps. Obviously, we only need to do 20 for the main race, but she wasn't very nice at the end of the FP3 there. You start to feel that soft front squishing down and whatnot. Medium rear for sure. I think we've done about 11 laps on the soft, and it's fantastic till about lap 7, lap 8, and then she sort of starts going down. There's quite a bit of graining with the cool air that we've got, so it'll be soft this afternoon, and then probably a very different game plan tomorrow.
Full gas, see where you end up.
That's it.
Good luck.
Cheers, eh?
There we go. Good to chat with Jack after another top performance as he catches up with some old friends in the paddock. Let's wander down and let's see if we can potentially, in fact, no, let's turn around. We'll spin out up through the factory Yamaha box, and we'll head back in that direction. And further down there, we'll have to cover them. KTM, wow, what a tough day. Toughest of the season so far, without a doubt. Best Pedro Acosta in 14th. Brad Binder, the worst, in 19th, with Enea Bastianini and Maverick Vinales, who suffered a technical problem in between them. Yeah, tough one. Not a lot to say for KTM, really. Need to go back to the drawing board. Pedro Acosta, incredibly strong when speaking to the media yesterday, saying that we're simply not good enough, which, well, says it all at this current moment for KTM. He said he was happy. He said the bike was performing perfectly yesterday, but unfortunately, that's all they've got right now. That's the limit of the bike, and the limit of the bike is row 5. So big Aragon test coming up for Pedro Acosta, who has expressed his concerns all season long, and it's obvious that he's just not getting the performance out of the RC16 that he wants at the moment, unable to compete at the sharp end, which is what the hungry, determined Pedro Acosta wants to do. So as we say, test coming up in Aragon after the Aragon Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time. Will KTM have any new items there? Will they be able to find a step? We'll have to wait and see, but certainly tough times for the Austrian mark at the moment. So let's see whether they can find a step. When it comes to Marco Bezzecchi, unlucky was Bez. In the end, will be row 4 for the Aprilia man. Caught out by some late yellow flags, was also following Marc Marquez on that final lap and was in touching distance halfway around, but then Marc made a mistake as they flicked through Maggots and Beckett's, and that cost him some time, and in the end he wasn't able to string a lap together, which I think there'll be a little bit of frustration at for Bez, because he looked pretty good yesterday. So let's see what he can do in the sprint and the Grand Prix. And we have to give a shout out as well to Marco's helmet that he's got this weekend as well, a special edition which I think might be on social media at the moment. If not, it will be later. It's a spin on the Sex Pistols classic God Save the Queen album, but instead it's a picture of himself, like a sort of typical British style, and it says God Save the Bez. I absolutely love that. One of my favourite ones for quite some time. Brilliant stuff from Marco Bezzecchi. As we see Alex Marquez here, probably the big favourite for me before we go racing tomorrow. Let's just bob down in towards the Grassini Racing concern to see if there is anybody down here that we might be able to get comic from. In fact, I'm seeing a couple of office doors opening above me here, so maybe we might have struck gold, and just as I arrive we could see potentially Alex popping out. Am I right? No, I'm not. I'm wrong. Oh well, not for the first time. So yeah, I think we could potentially have, we got Pecco Bagnaia around here. A good day again for Pecco, but he was just saying he doesn't have the performance that he wants at the moment. And it doesn't look like that struggle that he's having with feeling is sort of the solutions are anywhere in sight. He's going to have to ride around the issues and just maximise what he's got, which at the moment, you know, given the lack of feeling he's got to be on the front row of the grid, he's doing a tremendous job, but I'm sure there'll be some frustration that he can't do what he wants, and if he could, I'm sure he feels that he could be much closer to the front and fighting at the top. As we see the family of Bagnaia there, just by his office, which is up the stairs. That's dad and wife, just chatting with some friends, it looks like. As Luca Marini in the background just shoots past, and I think, looking up and down from left to right, they've deserted us. Everyone has gone for lunch, so I'm going to go grab some lunch, fuel up ahead of what is going to be an exciting sprint. I don't think it will rain, but you never know here in Great Britain, so could always be the case. We'll finish off by chatting to some of the fans that have made their way down to Silverstone today. See if we can get a bit of a straw poll to leave you with of who's going to win the sprint later today. Since I can't give you a strong prediction, maybe these guys here can give us one. So let's see, there's a whole group of fans, including a bit of a Marc Marquez fan. Hello mate, how are you? All good?
Yeah.
Jack, nice to meet you. What's your name?
Harry.
Harry, lovely to meet you, Harry. Big question for you. Who's going to win the sprint later today?
I think it's going to be Marquez.
Marc Marquez?
Yeah.
There we go. Nice and easy. So there we've got it. That's your answer. I can't give you a prediction. I think it's too close to call. But Harry very affirmatively, very definitely says the 93 is going to be on top spot. So there you go. If Harry says it, then that's good enough for me. Thank you for joining us on Inside the Paddock. We'll be back with you in Aragon in a couple of weeks' time. Enjoy the weekend. So far, it's looking like an unpredictable one. I'm looking forward to the sprint and the Grand Prix tomorrow as well. I think we're in for a treat. Enjoy it. I'll see you in Aragon.